Hey guys, it's Kate and I hope you're having a great day. I'm back with some more prompts. It's been a while. I've been doing some different abstracts and stuff, but haven't done prompts. So I thought I would break them out today and go to town with some color on my paper. So this is gessoed mixed media paper. I think it's 96 pounds. First keyword is hard. So I'm going to go with my trusty Posca pen, this giant one, and I'm going to make some hard edges. And just get right in here with some big wide marks. Handy to have baby wipes if you accidentally mark your table. All right, let's go for the next one. Add 2 different shades of yellow. I've got one sunshine yellow and straw hat. I am just going to get messy. And I'm going to put this right on my paper. A couple of little blobs. And we'll get ourselves a nice yellow background. I'm going to grab my silicone tool and just make some fun marks here. And I'm going to spread it out pretty thin so that it dries a little bit easier and I can kind of keep going quickly because I want to not think too much. The whole idea of this is that we are just going intuitively, quickly, getting some color down on the paper, and then we can turn it into something later if we like the direction. All right, find a hard angle and add a curve. So I am going to go with a blue, I think, and I've got hard angles all over the place. So I'm going to just put a couple of dollops here. And we'll start with that. And I'm going to grab the silicone tool again and add some curves. And maybe we'll have one coming this way, just like that. All right. Let's do the next one. Add black. Okay. I think for this, I'm going to do paint again. And I'm going to put a little blot there. I'm going to take my brayer and add some black and just make it fun. And we got lots of texture here. Okay, next keyword or prompt. Draw some blobs and color them in. So I think what I'll do is go back to this blue since we lost most of it. And I'm going to color in blobs with my spatula. We'll do a blob right here. And a blob over here. And I'm just going to kind of have fun with the direction of my tool. And we'll do that. And maybe add a blob up there. Okay, next prompt. Splash paint or ink. I think we can do some paint splashes. Let's see. What do we want to add? You know what? I think for this, I'm going to add some white. We really need some brightness back on here. So I am going to wet my brush and dilute some of this to make it watery and add some splashes. Just like that. All right. add 2 different shades of red. I can do that. All right, so I've got some crimson and some red. This one is a much more warm color of red. You can kind of see the difference. This is much more bluish. It's a little bit purple, this crimson. So I will add a little bit to my plate. That way I can just kind of dip into both and add them to my page. And I'm going to grab this tool here and just add some marks with both. And I'm going to kind of keep these curves going. I really like those. And let's have one maybe coming down here. And I'm going to dip into this other red now and just kind of add just some accents. Just like that. And I kind of pushed some paint aside here. Look at this effect. I love how these silicone tools kind of, if the paint is still wet, it'll push it aside and make some really beautiful textures. So I know I didn't have a prompt for this, but I'm going to do it. All right. Okay, I'm going to finish with the prompts here. I think I've got a really good start on my paper, and I can start taking it in a direction where I want it intuitively. But we've got some good color on the page, some marks, and I'm going to continue with this. So I grabbed a couple of the collage papers that we did together a few videos ago, and so I am going to tear some of this up and put it on there. Some of my paint is still wet here, so I've grabbed my matte medium and I'm just gonna kind of go over it the best I can with my silicone. And if I get some wet paint on my collage pieces, it's all right. This is just gonna serve as a base so that we can get some ideas for things to put over it, so it's fine. And I'm just going to kind of randomly put it on here and just see what we get. Okay, I think I'm going to go back in with my blue. I've let this dry for just a few minutes, and I'm going to add some color and texture over the top of this. So I just put a few little kind of blobs down on my paper. I'm going to grab my flat brush here, and I'm just going to add some marks around some of this. And I'm just going to grab some of that blobby paint that I put down and add some solid color, just like this. And add a little bit here to the center. And again, I don't want to have any thick, huge blobs of paint. I want this to dry pretty quickly so that I can keep making marks. Now I'm going to go in with some charcoal and put some finer lines back over the top of this again and scrape back some of this paint. think we need some brightness, so I'm going to add some white and grab the brayer again. And just roll some of that on there. Okay, I'm still damp. I grabbed a stencil and some of my homemade alcohol ink, and I'm just going to do a couple of light sprays to put some interesting texture on here. Just like this. And I'm using sort of a dark blue color. And just picking it up and adding that pattern. And it's going to dry a little bit faded, and that's fine. It's going to still leave a bit of a pattern here that you can see spreading out a little bit in the wet paint, but I love that sort of subtle texture that you get there. Next, I'm going to grab some stronger white with my brush, and I'm going to follow a couple of these marks that look interesting. So I'm going to start with this one. There's this black charcoal line that goes straight up. And then there's another one that kind of comes this way. And I'm going to grab some more white, make sure that I'm getting enough color on there. And I'm just going to let this come down. And then another one here. And how about one like this? Now I'm going to grab some of this yellow again and put it on my plate and mix it a little bit with some of my red that I have there. And I'm going to grab my smaller brush again, and I'm going to grab this warmer red and make a bit of an orange. Let's see how some of that cooler red works in there. Kind of like that. That's a pretty orange, and I'm going to add a little bit of white just to make it brighter. And I'm picking out some of my lines that I have here, just like this. And I'm going to fill in some of these spots. Not much, just a few little areas like that. Just ones that kind of stick out to me. And this is kind of geometric in a way. I'm going to mix up a little bit more color. I'm going to fill in kind of a triangle here. Maybe have that coming down from the top. Yeah. Like that. And now I'm going to grab some more yellow. And just sort of embrace the yellow color a bit. And just continuing to add some interesting marks. And now I'm dipping straight into the yellow. Now I've got some red. I'm going to go around the outside of a couple of these shapes. I've been really loving these geometrics lately. I seem to kind of gravitate toward the lines and the shapes, and it's kind of interesting when you start making some small groups of things together. And we've got that sort of cool blue color in the background, but we've also got some peaks of that yellow coming through, some of the collage, some different textures, and I think that this ends up having a really interesting look with all that texture and everything. So I'm going to grab some white and I'm going to add some pretty undiluted white here. And I'm going to go around some other things. Another thing I've been really enjoying doing lately is outlining some shapes. And that's been really fun to do in some of these paintings I've been working on. And it just kind of helps to highlight some of the things that have some visual interest here. At least to me. I have just really been attracted to this. So let me know what you think. And I'm just sort of going through with these random, well, not so random, but narrow lines, and I'm trying to sort of group my little pieces together in one area and just kind of enjoy the process and seeing how it turns out. And I'm just kind of reinforcing these thicker lines too that I made with my brush. Not all of them, but some. So I've got this sort of chalky outline here. I'm going to trace that a little bit. And have that coming out there. And a few of these other marks. And I just want to put a little bit of something in most areas. And I'm going to also add some black back in here too. I'm going to come back in with some yellow right here and just really kind of color up this angle. And I'm going to do some of that here too. I'm going to grab this black and put just a little dot on my plate. And I'm going to grab this silicone tool and grab a little bit of black on it. And let's see. This leaves such an interesting mark. It's pretty incredible. I love it. All right. It's like it's almost like a water ripple or something. And we're adding some of that nice contrast back in. Then I'm going to follow some of my other chalk outlines here, or charcoal, I guess I should say, because that's what it is. And just putting some of that texture back in. I'm kind of following some of these fun collage lines too from the papers that we glued down in the background. So I've been letting this dry a little bit, and I think that I really love this orange color, but on the spots where I have it down over the blue, it's a little bit transparent, and so it kind of sinks to the background. So what I'm going to do is mix up a little bit more of this orange color that I had made, and I'm going to go over a couple of those areas again. That way it pops out a little bit better. And I like that much better. So I'm just going to quickly go over some of these old marks that we've already got down and just give them a little bit more brightness. And I think I got one here. I like that much better. All right, and then some of these where I had painted in, I'm going to cover these over again too, just so we can really make them pop. I really want that nice strong color. And I'm going to do the same thing with some of this yellow. I'm going to grab some of this red and do a little shape up here. And I'm going to outline that in white, just like I did with the other ones. I like making these colors pop with this second coat, so I'm going to keep going over. I'm just kind of looking where I need some color and where I want to really have it pop. And so I'm just kind of going through and adding it in. I kind of like adding this pop of white where I've got some of my other colors too. What do we think? I really like this. I think this was a good intuitive art process. So I'm going to take my tape off so we can get a close-up and see how it looks. Taking the tape off is one of the best parts of the process. All right, let's do the close-up with all the layers. That looks pretty good to me. I think this is pretty neat. I love the texture and the lines with the bigger shapes. I think that looks really cool. And this is so fun to do. I hope you followed along with me with some of the prompts and made your own beautiful work of art and had a good time with me on this video today. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next video. And until then, keep creating. Have a good day.